Yeah, shalom, shalom. Big up to the brothers and sisters out there, that's doing this work, that's out there laboring, doing what they have to do. I'm just back real quick. This video won't be long, okay? But I'm back for this lesson here, basically showing you that when you deal with your children, you got to be very hard on them. Okay, you can't deal with your children, as they say, with kid gloves. You got to be on them. Okay, what's happened here is this young girl here was making swatting calls, hoax phone calls to the cops, claiming that something had went wrong. Okay, a hoax. He was idle. Okay, this young girl here was idle. You know, and the parents are irate, as you can see. They're not very happy with her actions. Okay, but I just have a quick scripture to pull, and the minute I see in this video, that scripture came to my head immediately, and I just want to read it for you, brethren, real quick. Okay. This is Ecclesiastes, or you could say Sirach 30:8. It says, "And a horse not broken becometh headstrong." Okay. Now, back in the days, and they still do it now, when you break a horse, what are you doing? You trying to claim that horse. It's a wild Mustang or some horse out in the outback, if you will, and it's untamed. So you have to tame that horse. You gotta rough it up. You gotta be rough with that horse. You gotta break that horse's spirit, or else it will become headstrong. So now it says here, and a child left himself be willful. This young child here was willful. Because why? It wasn't broken. It wasn't disciplined. Okay? You know what I mean? The parents was a bit weak. The father was weak. The mother was weak with their approach as it concerns, raising their child up the right way. But it says, and a child left himself be willful, conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. Okay? So it says here, conquer means to pamper. Okay? It means to treat your child in a nice way. It means to treat them nicely. Pamper. Okay? Conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. Okay? So if you pamper him, you treat him good, you tell him the things that he wants to hear, you give him gifts, he's going to make you afraid. Right? So let's read on. Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness. Right? So the Lord is telling us that if you being extra nice to your children, right, and of course it's a balance, but you can't give your child liberty to do whatever the hell they want to do, or else things like this will happen. A child being willful. Okay? So the Lord is telling us to, reading on 9, play with him and he will bring thee to happiness, right? So meaning, if you playing with your child and everything's a joke, it's folly, it's laughter, etc., eventually that child's going to run wild. Why? Because you didn't lay down the law in the household. So these things happen, right? So when you have your children, those of you brothers out there got children, you gotta be, very stern with them. Of course, the scriptures say don't be a lion in your house. So you have to have balance. Because a lot of our people, they have children, and they don't know how to deal with their kids. They don't know how to have balance. So then they resort to all kinds of these various measures that are not necessary. Okay? So it says number 10, Ecclesiastes 30:10, laugh not with them. Right? Don't be too laughy and giggle with them kids, with your kids, man. Lest thou have sorrow with him. Come. You laughing and joking with your kids might mess around and do something stupid, like this child here. Because why? Everything's a joke, everything's a game. You got to be very, very stern with your kids. My father was extremely stern with us. Okay, sometimes he was overly stern. Sometimes he was over the top with it. That's why my mother came in with the balance, the leniency. Okay, the mother came in with the leniency, which again, it's balance. But if I just had my father, it would have been a bit too much. So you have the mother to bring in that balance. You know what I mean? The levity, if you will. The liberty. Okay, so it's a balance. It says, laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him, and lest thou gnash thy teeth in the end. Come. So these parents are gnashing thy teeth, right? The parents are gnashing thy teeth. They're upset. They're vexed. They're irate. They're infuriated with the actions of their child. Because why? They didn't deal right with them kids. They didn't teach their children the right way. So now look what you have. This young 11-year-old is gonna be doing time in a juvenile. She's a juvenile, she's gonna be locked up with juveniles. Okay, because of her foolery. Because why? The parents, the parents didn't deal right. The parents didn't deal right with her. They didn't take it. They didn't let her know that life is serious. Okay, we're gonna move on. I'm almost done here. It says, give him no liberty in his youth. Con. Give him no liberty in his youth. They gave this young girl liberty. She's in her youth. Because you become an adult in the ancient world, you became an adult at the age of 12 years old. You was under the age of accountability. You were held accountable for your actions. Okay? But this cop right here, this Edomite cop right here, he appears to be an Edomite, told this young girl, look, you going down for it, man. Okay? Because anything could have happened. Okay, we're going to read 30 and 11. Give him no liberty in his youth. What is liberty? Freedom. You can't give your children freedom to do whatever the hell they want to do. Even you so-called Negroes, you so-called blacks. Y'all raise your kids just like you raise them to just be animals, man. Especially, you single mothers, man. You have these kids, and they're all freaking animals, man. And we praying for Esau to come and get they behind and take them off the planet or throw them in a cage because they animals, man. They're headstrong. Okay, the child has become headstrong. Your children are all headstrong. Okay. Because why? You pampered them too much. You cockered your child too much. You gave them liberty, right? And it says, and wink not at his follies. See that? Don't wink at his follies, man. Don't encourage it. You're supposed to nip it in the butt immediately. Why? Because these things will happen like this. See, you got to stay on your child. You have to take away these phones, these iPhones, the laptops, and all this social media stuff, right? Because the social media thing is a trap essentially, and it's catching a lot of children out there, and it's giving children a lot of ideas to do evilness and wickedness. Okay, so with that, brothers and sisters out there, stay prayed up, stay prayed up. We almost out of here. The Most High could take this place out in a year or maybe 2 years. We haven't got long in this place, man. Stay prayed up, stay strong in this truth, and we almost out of here. Shalom.